So far, we've managed some educational meetings with more than 500 kids and teenagers within the schools or summer camps where they can see the life living in lakes and understand the role of it and learn how to protect the water bodies.
Off-Gassing, a scuba podcast with host Nick Hogel. Magdalena Męcik found her way to diving while completing her master's degree. Her curious nature, along with the passion she observed from the members of the Scientific Diving Club, propelled her to learn more. Gaining recognition for her hard work awarded her an open water course, and she immediately fell in love with the aquatic environment. Now, as vice president of the Scientific Underwater Research Foundation, based in Poland, she and other members focus on protecting the freshwater environments in their surrounding areas. Please enjoy. Magda, welcome to the podcast today. How are you doing this morning? Well, first, I must apologize because I had the times wrong, and you're on here an hour earlier than we were scheduled to meet. So thank you for that, and I do apologize. But how are you doing this morning?
I'm doing actually pretty good, and no worries about the time messing up. It's all good.
Okay. Just for the viewers, where are you currently located right now?
I'm currently located in Olsztyn, Poland.
Okay. How is the weather over there this morning for you?
It's pretty sunny and kind of windy, but I haven't had a chance to go outside yet, so...
Okay. There was a chance that I might be in Poland in November. I don't think it's going to happen, but I would like to visit it at some point.
Are you going for Baltic Tech or?
Yeah. But I don't know if it's going to happen this summer, or I'm sorry, this winter. And I was also even telling somebody, I was like, man, I don't know if I've ever experienced that type of cold before, Poland in the wintertime. So is it not very cold, or is it very cold?
No, it's not. It might be cold sometimes, yes, but usually it's not that cold. Everyone thinks Poland is like Iceland, and it's not.
Okay.
It's not. It's pretty warm in the summer here, and also might be cold in the winter, but those winters that are here now are not as bad as they used to be.
Okay. Well, you do have to remember, I live in Malaysia, so it's fairly warm over here compared to most parts of the world, which is right up my alley as far as weather. But yes, I definitely will have to try to make it out there at some point. But welcome to the podcast. Thank you for joining today.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah, I'm excited to hear about your journey, hear more of your story, hear about some of the stuff you have going on over there. But my first question I always like to ask is, tell me how and why you became a scuba diver. Tell me about that first breath underwater, that first experience. Was it absolutely amazing? Was it, I absolutely hate this? Was it, this is okay? Tell me all about it.
Okay, so for me, it all started when I moved to Olsztyn to get my master's degree at the University of Warmia and Mazury. And here I've met new people, obviously. And my friend has introduced me to a scientific diving club called Hydronautic. And in this club, I've met future members of our foundation. And it all started because I've joined the trips to protect lakes and sites to help with the research conducted on them. And time flew by. There was an upcoming conference for divers about the freshwater environments. And I remember I've met a lot of different divers back then. It was completely something new for me. One thing that I've noticed was they might have some differences, but they all shared this passion for underwater world. So I just got curious. Really curious, because it was a clash of two different worlds, science and research, with diving enthusiasts, and some people treat it like a passion or hobby or a way of living simply. So I really got curious, as I said, and I wanted to see what's below the surface. And at this conference, I got recognized for my work and help with organization of this conference. And I was rewarded with my pretty first scuba diving certificate.
Oh, cool.
Certificate, rather course. And so, yeah. And shortly after the course started, and so started my scuba diving journey. My very first experience was that I felt otherworldly. I feel like you've heard this a lot by now, but all those fishing passing by my head, all different plants and animals, you don't see this normally. So it was like a magical place for me. And I remember there was a pike nearby, pikefish, that looked, I can bet that, as curious as I was. And when I left the water, I wanted to go back immediately.
How did I'm assuming since you're learning, it's probably not the biggest change, like, because I know people when they go from warm water to cold water, I'm assuming the water was cold, but did that not bother you? Or was it not cold? I'm not sure.
Let's say that for worldwide standards, it's cold water.
Just curious, what is cold water for you as opposed to warm water? Because I know I joke around and say anything under 25 is cold for me. So.
Let's say I was at the deep spot this year, and the water there was super warm for me. And normally here in the summer, water near the surface is like 25 degrees in Celsius, and below that it's like 10 to 17, and really low it's around 4.
What is your background? How did you when you were getting introduced to the scientific project, like what was your background before that brought you into that side of things?
None.
Okay.
The region I originally come from, there's not a lot of lakes or rivers or water sports activities. So I was not like a water animal at all.
Okay, so what drew you to that line of work then?
Curiosity, and I always loved nature. Always was curious about it since I was a kid. So this was like another part of nature that I wanted to discover, basically.
So can you tell me a little bit about the work that the project is? Actually, well, I guess I should say this. Can you, just because I'm not going to try to pronounce it because I'm horrible at pronunciation, but so the project, what is it called?
The project is called Scientific Underwater Foundation Research.
Is that the English name or the
That's the English name, yeah.
What's the Polish name?
The Polish name is Fundacja Naukowe Badania Podwodne.
Okay, yeah, I don't know if I'll be able to pronounce that. Well, can you tell me a little bit about the project, how it got started, and the type of work that you're doing in there?
Yeah, sure. So, as I mentioned, it all started with combining two worlds. One of the inland water researchers and non-science divers. A lot of scuba divers who doesn't have scientific background in freshwater studies really cares about the environment and wanted to help with the research done on protected lakes and sites. From that point, I think it all started basically because from the science side, there was a researcher who was involved in studying the underwater world, like plants and landscapes. And scientific club was eager to help him with this research. And founders and members of Scientific Underwater Research Foundation through the years have been involved in many trips and tasks to protect freshwater environments, including national parks in Poland to help basically protect them, right? And it all came as a natural progression within diving and learning about the environment that we live in. Of course, not all of us has a scientific background, but all of us share this passion for diving and protecting this inland freshwater environments. Of course, the water in general is very important, but we feel like the freshwater environment is pretty much overlooked by many people. Everyone is focusing on oceans, on different sites, and the freshwater environments is like, oh, who cares? Who cares?
No, it is very true though, because when people think about conservation in water terms, it's never really focused in on lakes, and there's obviously so many lakes. And I mean, I don't know the statistics, but I'm sure that there's a lot of lakes out there that have just been ruined by pollution because people not really caring. I mean, it's not a lake, but I feel like most rivers inside a city vicinity is just usually not the type of place you want to go jump in or swimming, and it's sad to see because like right now I'm thinking of Austin, Texas, right? There's a little lake, Ladybird Lake in Austin, Texas, and a lot of people will go paddle boarding and this and that, but as far as diving or swimming, it's just like that's probably not the lake that you want to go into. And if we did a little bit more to protect it, it could be shared with more people. Well, I guess that's the question that I should ask is, what are the dangers that they face when they're not being protected?
They can face many, many dangers. When people don't know how to protect those lakes or don't care simply, they easily get polluted. The environment is in danger because fishes, animals, plants can die. There's a lot, usually there should be a lot of oxygen in the water, but if it's not, all life can simply die.
The research and the information that you're gathering, where does that go to?
We work with a lot of different universities and scientific research sites. The results of our work goes to them. They do what they can with those results, and usually it goes to be publicated in scientific journals.
I'm assuming in Polish, not English, or is it in English?
Usually it's in English.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I apologize. Let me back it up just a little bit. When you completed your open water course, while you were going through the course, how did you take to the skills and sort of things like that? I always like to ask because I know there's certain skills that will kind of hinder people, or some people are like, oh, I'll be honest, when I first got certified, I was like, oh, this is going to be amazing. And then I get to class, I'm like, this is not what I thought it was going to be. There's so many things I have to do. But how did you take to the class? Like, did you like it? Did you like the skills? Or was it like, I just want to go and see the fish? Because that's very much who I am. I just want to go see the fish. I don't want to do any skills if I don't have to, but gotta stick to the skills, I guess.
Well, to be honest, my instructor was very focused on how I react to certain things, and I am very thankful for that to him. I was very on a mission while on the course. Yeah, like, take off your mask. I am taking it off. No thinking inside. I just wanted to do it and have it done. To be honest, I think the most problematic skill for me was buoyancy because of my lack of experience with water in general. So, I'm still learning. I'm still practicing. I'm still moving forward with my diving journey.
Okay. No, I mean, that's the best we can do, right? What level are you currently?
Currently, I'm still on my open water.
You got to enjoy it, right?
Yeah.
So to be a part of the project, obviously open water certification, but is there stuff that non-divers can do? How can non-divers help with the project?
Of course, everyone can help. We have plenty of work for divers and for non-diver people, because you can help on the boat when the boat is near divers and collect the data or navigate to a certain point. Or you can help on the area around the body of water. Search for different illegal tracks or simply waste left by tourists, because we work with very different areas in science around the topic of freshwater environment.
How big is the project? How many people are involved?
Well, so far we've gathered more than 200 scuba divers.
Oh, wow.
All certified with ecologist scuba diver. And that's one of the certificates that you have to dive in protected areas. I think there's still more to come because a lot of people are very interested in our project and a lot of people want to help.
Obviously in Poland, but is there specific areas that you focus on, or is it just kind of throughout Poland?
The easiest for us is area around us because it's like smaller Minnesota, basically.
The area around you or Poland in
Yeah.
general?
Area around me.
Okay.
Yeah, it's like smaller Minnesota. It's called a land of 1,000 lakes.
Okay. Minnesota's like the land of 10,000 lakes, right?
Yes, yes.
Okay.
So it's very easy for us to focus on the area around us, but we also go further and explore the south or the west of Poland just to see what's up there and help protect and mainly research those freshwater bodies.
So when somebody is, say you're on the boat, you're on the way to the site, or I'm assuming is there shore? I would assume some shore diving is probably done as well. I'm a diver. I'm about to go out and gather information. What is the information that I'm gathering, and how am I gathering that information?
Usually you just go down and watch all the landscapes underwater. You look for trash, the type of the landscape. Is it like flat or not? Is it there any rocks? Is there any trees that have fallen to water? Any fishes, animals, plants? What kind of plants? How much of these plants are there? Usually it's that. And that's also the part of underwater inventories that we are doing. Recently, we've done some inventories on the Hańcza Lake, which is the deepest lake in Poland, and it's also protected.
So when you say protected, what do you mean by protected? Like, what is it? Just protected as far as there's an organization going around making sure that people aren't polluting it? Can people swim in it? I'm assuming divers can go in, but because I know there was a lake in I used to live in Colorado, and there was a lake there, and I can't remember if it was protected or not. It was kind of weird because they allowed boats on it, but they didn't allow you to swim in it, which I thought was always weird because I'm like, seems like boats probably pollute the water a little bit more than swimmers. Maybe dirty swimmers, I don't know, but I just figured that boats would be a little bit worse to have in the water than actual swimmers.
There are different kinds of lakes being protected, basically. There are very strict rules, like in national parks, when tourists cannot go at any circumstances into the water, like in Tatra Mountains and Morskie Oko, which translates directly to an eye of the sea. To get any research there, even, you have to get the permissions from the national park. But there are also other ways to protect the lakes, like reservoirs of the surrounding area.
Is it difficult to gain permission to dive in these areas to collect the data? Is there a lot of red tape that you have to go through in order to collect the data?
That depends on the site, basically, on the lake, because some lakes are very strict and it's a lot of work. It's not that easy to just go dive in Tatra Mountains, but some of them are easier to collect because they are not so strict.
As far as pollution, what is the biggest pollutant? I know, like, thinking of Lake Travis, you find it's a big party lake, so a lot of people are going on the boats, just drinking. A lot of trash ends up in the water, and I mean, a lot of times you're finding bottles, cans, just random bits of trash. And obviously I know there's a big plastic pollution all over the world, but do you find that there's more trash, or more of a certain type of trash than other trash?
Most things that I found around the lakes are glass bottles, plastic bottles, etc. Inside the lake, usually it's not that much, at least in those that I've been to. Typical trash also. I've seen a lot of different people here that are working to take all of the trash from the water, and they can come up with tires, old chairs, so different stuff. But beside typical waste and trash that can land into the water, there's biological pollution also that can change the whole ecosystem in the lake, and in the end it might get just rid of the lake after a long process.
Have there been cases where lakes have taken a turn for the worse and not been able to recover from the pollution?
Yes, definitely. There was some cases, but it's hard to me for recollect any of them now.
Randomly, so out of all the lakes that you've been to, which one would you say is your favorite?
Probably Jasna Lake and Morskie Oko,
Can you tell me a little
the
bit
eye
about
of
the
the sea.
diving? Okay.
Yeah. Sure. So Jasna Lake is located in protected area like Morskie Oko. It's Jasna Lake is in strict nature conservation area. The water is crystal clean blue, but there's not a lot of life in it. Only some type of fishes and little to no in some places plants, but mainly it's one type of plant there. And Jasna Lake is located quite near me, so it's easier. But of course, Morskie Oko, you can dive in mountains in crystal clear blue water with a lot of huge rocks that are in there because of the landscape. A lot of different trees that have fallen into the lake. Some fishes, yes, but mainly not a lot of life. But the view is perfect.
Just another random question. When you first started, did you start in a wetsuit or a dry suit?
Wetsuit.
Oh wow, I don't know if I could do that. A wetsuit. That must be pretty tough.
It's not. It's not. I like diving in wetsuit. To be honest, this year my diving season has started in March. So I was in the water in March with -8 degrees on the outside and 4 degrees on the inside, and I've spent like plus 40 minutes in water.
Yeah, that's a. Are you in like a 7 mil, a 12 mil? What are you wearing?
Actually, my own wetsuit is 5.
Wow. Oh my lord. I don't know if I could do that. That's so cold. And what is the what's the water temperature in March? Or you just said it, I'm sorry. Yeah, that's got to be tough.
4, yeah.
Yeah, that's pretty tough. I don't know. I mean, granted, don't get me wrong. I love diving in a wetsuit. It's so much easier, but I don't know. I would probably just freeze. Like I was saying, I always joke around and tell people I've been diving in Texas cold, which is it's a joke. Texas cold, you know, it does get cold there, but not like some of these other destinations. So I just don't. I don't know if I could do that. Well, cool. Do you guys have any big projects in the future, or is it kind of just little by little going to these lakes, gathering the information, passing the information on? Is there any big events or projects in the future?
We have few projects in the future, but also many right now. So take a cup of tea because it's gonna be long. One of our key activities is organizing and conducting those scientific research trips with scuba divers who play a crucial role in the gathering of the results. We work closely with many universities and scientific centers. We have also had a cooperation agreement with Croatian Polish scientific network. And when researchers need help to gather some results or conduct the research, we gather volunteer divers and plan all of the necessary tasks to help them as best as we can. And then we specialize with helping with research focused on freshwater, underwater landscapes, underwater inventories, including macrophytes, bentology, ichthyofauna, and tourist pressure on the environment. Second of our best projects is education of children, young people, adults in general about the freshwater environments. So far, we've managed some educational meetings with more than 500 kids and teenagers within the schools or summer camps where they can see the life living in lakes and understand the role of it and learn how to protect the water bodies. We've obtained a grant from local authorities called Secrets of the Underwater World, and as a part of which, in addition to educating young people, we are organizing webinars on the aquatic and near water topics with no limit age. But so far they are all in Polish. Maybe in the future we will translate them into English. Maybe.
It's not an easy thing,
It's not
especially...
an easy thing and time consuming.
Oh yeah, definitely. How is the reception at the schools? Do you see a lot of interest from the students?
Yeah, a lot. To be honest, every kid is super curious about all the bentology stuff, all the larvas and oysters that living in the water, all these kind of small animals that live on the bottom of the lakes or near the shores. So they are super curious. Also, the teachers are very fascinated about the topic and scuba diving in general. So that's also one of our goals, to share scuba diving with anybody who wants to participate in it. Basically, with no limit of age or disabilities or any limit, within their possibilities, basically.
It's funny because I feel like kids are so much more receptive to information and wanting to learn. Do you find the same in the adults that you're trying to educate, or is it kind of the same, or is it kind of like, a little bit more difficult to reach someone after they've hit a certain age, I feel like?
I think it's always easier to talk to kids and make them interested in something, because they are all interested in everything. So it's very easy to talk to them and to teach them. With adults, you have to come with different approach. But if someone is not interested, there's not much you can do. It's a little bit harder.
Yeah, I can understand. It's almost like if you're learning, like say a language, like learning a language, I feel like is a lot easier when you're younger as opposed to when you get a little bit older. It becomes just, you're set in your ways and
Yeah.
you're trying to break habits of things. But as far as people volunteering, do people just come across your website and they're a diver already and they're like, hey, this is something I want to do? Are you reaching out on platforms to get volunteers? How do volunteers come and help?
Usually they contact us, or we post some information on social media and website about the need of volunteers or upcoming research trips, when people can sign up and join us, basically. Of course, there's some set of rules that people has to check out to join us. So unfortunately, not everybody can join us on those trips, especially in those very strict and restricted and wanted to dive in areas like Morskie Oko, exactly. But yeah, usually it comes this way, and we contact them if they can join us on those trips, and the trip begins.
What are some of the rules?
You have to know how to swim correctly. You have to have an ecologist scuba diver certificate. You have to know basic rules about safety in the water. It's not a tourist trip. You have to do the work. Nobody wants someone to come with us and do basically nothing. You have to be prepared to do the work. And it's not easy work.
It's not just a fun dive, basically. It's an actual, we're here to get some information, get some work done.
Yeah. Sometimes you have to spend few hours in bright sun on the boat, and that's what you have to deal with it.
Is Santi involved in helping with the project?
Yes, actually, Santi was, as well as other brands like X-Deep or Seacraft, was helping us even before the foundation was founded with the research. They always help us in some way, so we are very grateful for that. But I think one of the most recognizable way they help us is with our scientific events, like conference and seminars on which divers can meet and talk with other divers or scientists. In April, for example, this year, we've gathered over 90 scientists, divers, and students from different parts of Poland We've managed to have many lectures about underwater freshwater science, environmental pollution, and strictly diving topics like dangerous objects that you can find while diving and what to do with them. On the top of that, Santi and other brands like I said, Deep Sea Craft, Ratio, and more have provided us with their products to test out for the participants. And we have also accommodated some gifts from those brands, including newest avatar dry suit for one of our participants.
So with access to a dry suit, you still want to dive a wetsuit, huh?
Yeah. Maybe I will change my mind in the future.
Yeah. No, so we were just in a shop and looking at the Avatar dry suit, and yeah, no, it looks really nice. And then Santi dry suits in general, I mean, they're obviously very, very well known for their dry suits and their products. And but no, I mean, if you like the wetsuit, then just roll with the wetsuit. But I probably would have, been dry by now.
Yeah.
Cool. And can you tell me about when you're going to schools? Sorry, I'm so bad with the proper terms across the world, but in the States we call it like elementary school or junior high school or high school. Which ones do you prefer to go to? Like, is it easier with the younger ones, or high school kids just kind of a pain in the ass, or so which ones are better?
So far, we've been in the middle school.
Okay.
Because the education system in Poland has recently changed, so I have to think how to call it. But in general, we've been working the most with kids around 7 to 12 years old. They are always very interested and want to know more.
Have you converted any of them into becoming divers?
I think not yet, but soon maybe. We are planning in the future organize some trips for kids, like trips, camps, summer camps, something like that, when they can come and see scuba diving in the real life, how it works, and share this passion with us. We want them to pursue scuba diving, and also we hope that this education may encourage them to pursue more eco-friendly lifestyle or living or pursue studies related to environmental protection and water resources, ecology, biology, whatever. As a part of this, we also have managed to organize an association for young students, young researchers from various universities as a platform to gain more knowledge and opportunities for further development.
Well, I guess I probably should have asked this earlier, so I apologize for bringing up the question now. But when volunteers are coming out to help on a project, are they getting any sort of training beforehand? Like, or is it just kind of like, here's a slate, here's the information that needs to be gathered? Is there any kind of big training process that goes into when you're in the water, or getting them in the water and getting them to collect the right information?
Yes, usually when we have gathered all the volunteers on the diving site, we have like an evening before a huge conversation about what do we have to do, how to do it, what are we looking for, how the whole mission will look basically, and what to expect, what to do when something dangerous can happen. All the data basically we have to cover it, and it's very important to tell everyone what they should doing tomorrow, because they are not scientists, they are not related usually to science, this type of science. So it's a crucial part of citizen science and citizen underwater monitoring, so they have to know the stuff, how to do it basically.
Because I always feel like with me, tell me point A, point B, point C, or if you just like go out there and get data, I'll be down there like, okay, what data should I get? I need to get all the data, but I don't know where to get it. But cool. So you are an open water diver, and you're planning to go towards advanced. Okay, cool. Are you excited about that?
I am. Yes. I mean, I've been an open water diver since 2022, which is a fun coincidence because our foundation has started in 2022.
Oh, okay.
So yeah, I am planning to go deeper basically and explore more things and my skills basically. I want them to grow.
I always suggest for people to, if it's something that you really enjoy, to at least make it to rescue. Some people don't want to go the professional route, and I completely understand that, but I think rescue is a good point because it changes the way that you look at diving. It changes the way that you will treat dives. And so that would be my suggestion. Definitely make it up to rescue, but take your time. There's never any rush to get there, right? It's just all about enjoying it. Do you think that the organization will ever start offering more training? Like, I'm sure there's instructors involved. That way you can kind of be more focused towards the scientific side of it.
Maybe. I myself, I'm really interested in science in general. I'm doing my PhD studies now.
Oh.
Yeah.
Okay.
So,
okay.
And also my topic is related to freshwater and pollution environment. Yeah, I think sometimes in the future, maybe, yeah.
Oh, how are the studies going?
It's tough.
I'm sure. I'm
It's
sure it's
tough.
not easy. Yeah.
It's tough. A lot of work, a lot of data to collect and analyze. It's a lot.
Okay.
Yeah.
Do you have an end goal in mind?
PhD.
Yes. No, I could definitely see that. Like anything that, or you're just kind of going for it now? Is there like I want to go out and do this once I achieve that, or it's just kind of taking it a day at a time?
I've learned in past that there's no really much point to make huge plans in the future because everything will change eventually. I was never planning on becoming a scuba diver and diver, and here I am.
You know what's really funny is I will find myself asking that question to guests all the time, which is super odd because that's like the one question I hate so much. Like, what are you going to do in the future? You know, like whenever I would be at a job interview and it's like, where do you see yourself in 5 years? And it's like, yeah, I have no idea. Why are you asking me this? So I apologize for asking that question. But no, I'm excited to see more of what you all are doing over there, just because any sort of project that is helping our waterways. I mean, I know Poland is not my waterway, but the world's waterways to be protected and make a better environment, so that way in 20 years it's not just gone and you know, like, oh yeah, we could look at pictures of how this place once was, but it's not like that anymore. So no, it's very awesome.
It's actually funny you're mentioning that because now we are conducting one project that is strictly related to scuba diving community, because we are been recently organizing something completely new in Poland, which is called underwater tourist trails with cooperation with local authorities. So we want to create a tourist-friendly sites underwater in freshwater environments that are with no harm or possibly minimum harm to environment. So everyone can go diving, see some stuff with almost none harm to it.
So what, like it'll be like just a like a regular hiking trail, but underwater that you just kind of follow and scuba?
Something like that.
Well, that's kind of cool. What are you gonna put, like attractions in there and stuff so people could see?
We will see because we want to do it legal way as best as we can. So we will see. I won't mention anything more because it's hard to say now.
Okay. And how long of a like, is that something in the next year, in the next 2 years, next 5 years?
It's happening right now, so.
Oh, okay.
It's happening right now, so it might be 1 year from today or 1 month from today. So it's very hard to tell.
So cool. Well, I just have one last question for you. Or before actually my last question, is there anything else about the project that you would like to speak about or say or anything?
I think I'm okay now. Yeah.
Okay. So my last question for you before I let you go is somebody that wants to get involved, that they're a diver already, and they want to get involved, they want to help out, what is the best piece of advice that you could give to that person? Is it an email? Just collect trash as they're going? Like, what is the best piece of advice that you could give?
I think scuba divers in general are very oriented on the water landscape, despite being the freshwater landscapes or sea and saltwater. The part when everyone can see some kind of trash and take it out from the water, it's very helping for the environment. Also, just enjoy scuba diving. It's the one thing that brought us together, basically.
That is very true, and the best words of advice right there. Just enjoy the dive. I love it. Absolutely love it.
Yeah.
Awesome. Well, Magda, I absolutely appreciate you coming on to the podcast today. This has been absolutely wonderful. So thank you very much for joining us today.
Thank you for having me.
Off-gassing, a scuba podcast.